Hey folks, Professor Finn here, and today we're going to be looking at Chapter 9 in Pathology and Microbiology for funeral service or mortuary science students. But before we get into that, take a moment to like, share, subscribe, share this on your social media, let people know these videos exist, and let's get the presentation up, and let's talk about diseases of the heart and blood vessels. So, disorders of the heart. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the United States. The risk for heart disease, stroke, or other diseases is not the same for everyone. Predisposing conditions for certain disorders include hereditary factors, high blood pressure, drug abuse, high cholesterol levels, tobacco use, physical inactivity, poor nutrition, obesity, and diabetes. First up, we have congestive heart failure, a multi-system disorder in which the heart is unable to pump as much blood as the venous system supplies. Blood becomes congested, tissues become edematous, and the overburdened heart gradually weakens and undergoes anatomical and physiological changes. This can result in cardiac failure that involves one side or both sides of the heart. So with right-sided cardiac failure, this is caused by failure of the left ventricle. This leads to anasarca, or generalized edema of the body. Chronic right-sided failure leads to enlargement of abdominal organs. Left-sided cardiac failure is caused by high blood pressure, mitral or aortic valve diseases, coronary artery disease, and diseases of the myocardium. Clearly, right-sided failure is easier to remember. If it is anything else, it is probably left-sided cardiac failure. Left-sided cardiac failure leads to pulmonary edema, dyspnea, less blood entering the kidneys, and embolisms. Congestive heart failure. Complications of congestive heart failure result in the failure of the heart to beat properly. This can go into fibrillation or arrhythmia. Fibrillation is the quivering or spontaneous contraction of individual cardiac cells, and arrhythmia is the loss of a normal beating rhythm. Neurologic failure that causes the heart rate to increase and the contractions of the heart to become more forceful. Hypertrophy and dilatation. There are two types of enlargement of the heart. The first is cardiac hypertrophy, and the second is dilatation or dilation. So cardiac hypertrophy occurs when there is an increase in the size of the heart or an increase in the size of part of the heart due to an increase in the size of the muscle fibers. Dilation occurs as a result of a pathological situation in which the heart or a chamber of the heart increases in size due to a stretching of the muscle fibers. So cardiac hypertrophy, the muscle fibers are getting bigger. Dilation, the muscle fibers are stretching. Myocardial infarction. Formation of an area of necrosis in cardiac tissue caused by obstruction in the artery supplying the area, or if the vein that drains the area becomes occluded. This is known as a heart attack. It is more prominent in men. There are two types of myocardial infarction, acute and chronic. 50% of all cases of acute myocardial infarction are fatal. This is usually due to an embolism. Chronic myocardial infarctions occur when the artery becomes occluded but still allows flow. So acute myocardial infarction, embolism immediately blocks. Chronic myocardial infarction, it slowly blocks over time until finally something happens. Causes of myocardial infarction: blood clots, usually in the coronary artery, that block the flow of blood to the heart muscle. Signs and symptoms of a myocardial infarction is angina, which is chest pain. May occur for days or weeks before an acute myocardial infarction. Pain is more severe during physical activity, eating a large meal, or exposure to cold weather. There is a sensation of crushing pressure behind the breastbone. Chest pain radiating to the neck, jaw, abdomen, shoulder, or left arm. Nausea, vomiting, difficulty breathing, and anxiety or fear. Cardiomyopathy, a disease of the heart due to a variety of causes. There are two types. Primary cardiomyopathy is idiopathic. We don't know what causes it. Secondary cardiomyopathy is a result of a known cause or associated with toxic chemicals, metabolic disorders, or inherited cardiac disorders. So what are some causes of secondary cardiomyopathy? Well, alcoholic cardiomyopathy, which occurs as a result of excessive alcohol consumption. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is an enlargement of the infant cardiac septum. Parasitic cardiomyopathy, which is a result of exposure to parasitic organisms. And restrictive cardiomyopathy, which is a lack of flexibility of the walls of the heart's chambers. Valvular defects. The primary function of the heart valves is to prevent backflow of blood. Valvular defects can occur either through acquisition over time or be present at birth, congenital. Can occur singularly or with other diseases. Commonly, the aortic and mitral valves will suffer deformities. These can cause obstruction of blood flow, and deformed valves are more susceptible to infection. So there are three types of disruptions. The first is valvular insufficiency or valvular incompetence. This is congenital. The valves of the heart fail to form properly. Second, you have valvular stenosis or valvular stricture, which is a narrowing of the valvular orifice. And lastly, you have valvular prolapse. This is due to the excessive stretching of the valves, and severe defects can be fatal. Rheumatic heart disease, valvular defects caused by rheumatic fever, affects the mitral valve in most cases and can lead to endocarditis. When the left ventricle of the heart hypertrophies in addition to a history of high blood pressure, a person is diagnosed with hypertensive heart disease. High blood pressure or hypertension can lead to severe disorders. Any reading of 140/90 is considered hypertensive. Normal is 120/80. Complications of HHD, chronic hypertensive disorder, can lead to atherosclerosis and coronary artery disease. Atrial septal defect. The foramen ovale fails to close at birth. Signs and symptoms: too much blood bypasses the right ventricle and is not sufficiently oxygenated, and this causes blue baby syndrome. Severe cases of atrial septal defect can be fatal, while others are mild and over time will correct itself. Next up, we have inflammatory diseases of the heart and the blood vessels. First up, we have endocarditis, inflammation of the endocardium of the heart, including the valves and septum. Causes of endocarditis are damage to the tissue as a result of clots or trauma, which then become affected, infection after replacement of valves, and intravenous drugs. Complications of endocarditis can be that the inflammation spreads to the kidneys. Pericarditis, inflammation of the area between the two layers of the pericardium, inflammation of the pericardial sac that surrounds the heart. Causes of pericarditis are infections and blunt force trauma, and complications of pericarditis include cardiac tamponade, which is the increase of fluid or pressure within the pericardium, which leads to a decrease in blood pressure. When we study diseases of the respiratory system, we're going to find something very similar there. Fluid gets in between the pericardium and the heart. As it builds in that area, the heart is not capable of expanding, just like with the lungs are not capable of expanding, and it causes problems. Vascular disorders. Cardiovascular disease contributes to sudden death. There is a link between diseases of the blood vessels and both cardiac failure and stroke. So first up, we have coronary artery disease, also known as ischemic heart disease or coronary heart disease. This is a narrowing of the lumen of the coronary arteries due to atherosclerosis. This is the most common cause of death in economically developed countries. Causes of coronary heart disease include acute plaque changes, blood clots in the coronary artery, and spasms of the coronary artery. Signs and symptoms of CAD are lack of blood to the heart, starves the cardiac muscle, and leads to cardiac tissue death. Atherosclerosis is a disease of the arterial vessels marked by a thickening, hardening, and loss of elasticity in the arterial walls. There are three forms: Atherosclerosis is the most common and is the leading cause of death in the Western world. Found in large and medium-sized arteries, usually in the femoral since it is farther away from the heart and can go asymptomatic longer. Large amounts of plaque cause the artery to be very brittle and inelastic. Slow, complex disease that can start in childhood and progress with age. It is believed to be caused by damage to the endothelium. Next, you have sclerosis of the arterioles. And finally, Monckeberger's calcification, which is the calcification of the medial layer of the arteries, but this is extraordinarily rare. Aneurysms are abnormal enlargements or bulging of an artery caused by damage to or weakness in the blood vessel wall. These can form anywhere in the vasculature, but usually in an artery. They are commonly found in the thoracic aorta, the large arteries of the lower extremities. These are called peripheral aneurysms if they are found in the lower extremities. They are most deadly when they happen in the abdominal aorta or cerebral arteries. Signs and symptoms of an aneurysm: they are asymptomatic in most cases. They're usually found during exams for other health reasons, and MRIs, CATs, or angiograms can detect brain aneurysms. One of the triggers of this is pain in the back, abdomen, or groin. Cerebral aneurysm. Signs of a cerebral aneurysm include headache, drowsiness, neck stiffness, nausea, vomiting, mental confusion, vertigo, and loss of consciousness. Complications arising from a cerebral aneurysm include brain damage, death, paralysis, coma. Treatments: beta blockers that lower blood pressure can reduce small aneurysms, and surgery is usually an option, and that is a graft that will circumvent the aneurysm so it does not rupture. Hypertension or high blood pressure. Hypertension contributes to coronary artery disease, strokes, kidney failure, and sudden aortic aneurysm. Causes: idiopathic, but believed to be the result of stress, obesity, smoking, and physical inactivity. Has been linked to diets high in salt and is the most consistent factor linked to hypertension. Complications of hypertension include chronic high blood pressure, which can result in acute cardiac failure and sudden death. Arteritis, inflammation of the arteries of the body. It is idiopathic. It is present in bodies with autoimmune disease such as AIDS, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and inflammatory bowel disease. Causes of arteritis include viruses, bacteria, and fungi, and there are two general forms of arteritis. The first is Takayasu's arteritis, which is inflammatory disease of the aorta and arteries that branch from it, and it is prevalent among young Asian women. The onset is between age 15 to 30. Signs and symptoms of Takayasu's arteritis are anemia, fever, night sweats, weight loss, joint pain, fatigue, impaired speech and chewing, vision loss, and atrophy of the extremities. This is often a fatal disease. There is also temporal or giant cell arteritis. It is the most common form of arterial inflammation. It is also idiopathic. It starts in the temporal arteries and migrates to the ophthalmic arteries, carotids, and aorta. Signs and symptoms of this, as you can imagine, involve a loss of vision. Phlebitis, an inflammatory condition of the veins of the legs due to blood clots along the walls and valves of the veins. Most cases, you will evidence this in the calf muscles. Causes: change in blood abilities to form clots, pooling of blood in the veins of the legs due to pregnancy or immobility, and cancer. Signs and symptoms of phlebitis include pain and redness along the veins of the lower leg, and lower legs swell and skin becomes hard and thick. Complications of phlebitis can be deep vein thrombosis, which then spread throughout the pelvis. Chronic phlebitis causes ulcers in the skin, usually by the ankles and lower shin bones. Varicose veins. Enlarged veins which are close to the skin surface, commonly found in the legs and feet. Causes of varicose veins include excessive pressure that deforms veins. There are predisposing factors for varicose veins, which include age, pregnancy, obesity, being female, and sitting standing for long periods. Signs and symptoms of varicose veins: sensation of pressure in legs and feet, throbbing, burning, muscle cramps, edema in the legs and feet, brownish gray discoloration of the ankles, itching around a particular vein, and ulcers on the legs and feet, although varicose veins are usually asymptomatic. As it comes to postmortem conditions, almost all diseases of this chapter affect distribution of arterial fluid, which means you're going to want to use proper co-injection or pre-injection when relevant, as well as multi-point injection to overcome blockages. Always monitor pressures when embalming bodies with diseases of the vasculature. Start slow, build up rate of flow over time, and you should minimize the chances of interruption and problems and blowouts. All right, folks, that concludes this lecture. Once again, take a moment to like, share, subscribe, share this on your social media. Throw me a comment in the comments below. Let me know how I'm doing, or even shoot me an email at askbigbadfin@gmail.com. We will see you next lecture.